So I just sold a stock yesterday at a loss of over $100. I think it was like 120 bucks that I lost on this stock. And if you've ever sold a stock at a loss, I feel your pain. It sucks selling at a loss, but I did it for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to share with you guys in this video which stock I sold, why I sold at a loss, my plan on what I plan on doing with the money, and then some other things that I plan on doing and why I'm selling my individual stocks. So hey guys, if you are new here, my name is Susan Velez, and on this channel we talk about making money, saving money, investing money, and taking care of our health so that we can catch up for retirement, especially if you are late to saving for retirement like me. So yeah, guys, I sold my first stock yesterday at my biggest loss of over $120. I think it was like 125, something like that. And which isn't as bad as if I would have sold a week ago. But the bad thing is that when I sold that stock, the price kept climbing and I didn't think it would. And I guess that's why they say you can't time the market, because you don't know what the market's going to do. I looked at that stock this morning. Even though I don't have it, the stock has gone down drastically. So while I did take a loss yesterday, I'm glad I'm out of that. I've been trying to get out of this stock for a little bit. But yesterday was the first time that it's climbed over the 52-week high, which I think was $43.42. And yesterday it managed to climb over that. So the stock that I'm talking about, guys, is Verizon. So I bought Verizon a few years ago. I think it was like 4 years ago. And I've been collecting that 6% dividend for 4 years. And when I bought into the stock was in the low 50s. I do remember paying, I think it was like $53. I don't remember exactly the price that I bought into it, but I do know it was 50 some dollars. And to this date, guys, that stock has never climbed back up into the 50s. It's just been falling. So I managed to get my cost basis down by averaging down, buying consistently on every pay period, or whenever I had some extra money, I would dollar cost average into that stock. Managed to get it down, back down into the 40s, low 40s. And thankfully, yesterday it reached close to my cost basis, but not quite. And so it sold. I'm out of it and I'm so glad. And I want to share with you guys why I decided to take a loss, why I sold it. And unfortunately, I did take a loss. So the number one reason that I sold it, guys, was because, well, Verizon, like I said, has not been doing anything but losing money. The main reason that people buy it is because of the high dividend yield. The dividend, it pays a good dividend, but the stock just does not grow. And right now, with me trying to catch up for retirement, I decided I wanted to get out of it. I should have got out of it a long time ago, but decided to move forward with getting out of it because they are going to be acquiring Frontier and taking on more debt. And from what I've been reading, I didn't know whether they were going to cut the dividend because of the debt that they are acquiring. I know they just announced a dividend increase on Labor Day weekend, but I didn't want to sit around and wait for them to see if they did cut the dividend. At that point, if they do cut the dividend and people started getting out of the stock, then it would have been harder for it to reach my cost basis, because I was on the higher end of the cost basis than the lower end. Because like I said, when I got in, the stock was in the low 50s. And yesterday I set a cost basis or a limit on Fidelity for $43.50. And it hit that limit yesterday, which I didn't think it would, because like I said, the 52-week high had been $43.42. Well, after I sold, or it hit the limit, I noticed that the stock just kept climbing. So I probably could have set the limit a little bit higher yesterday, but I had no clue what it was going to sell for. I didn't even know. I'd been setting the limit for a couple of weeks now, and it's never hit the limit. So it managed to trigger the limit yesterday, and I sold and got most of my money back except $125, give or take. And guys, when I say that the reason I sold is because I didn't know what the stock was going to do, it was the individual stock that I had the most money in. I had over $7,500 in that stock. And so I got my money back minus the $125 that I lost. And I'm taking that money, the 7,000 some that I got back, and I'm taking it and putting it a big chunk of it into an ETF. And then I do have a couple of individual stocks in my brokerage account that I truly do believe that they do have some potential for the near future or in the future. And so I'm going to put a little bit of money into those as well to try to get my cost basis down. But for a big majority of that money, I'm putting it into an ETF. And the reason being is because, like I said, guys, I did take a loss. And while I do hate taking losses, if I was younger, it wouldn't have mattered too much. I mean, it was only $125, but guys, $125 is $125 when you don't earn a lot. I don't want to take any losses, and I don't want to be in a position where I have a ton of individual stocks and we don't know what individual stocks are going to do. In my opinion, it's much better to have a bigger portfolio of ETFs and then just a few individual stocks. So like I said, when I got started investing in individual stocks, I had my M1 account before I just moved it over to Fidelity about 2 months ago. And I had over 26 individual stocks because when I got started investing, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just buying the same stocks that I had saw other YouTubers buy. So I've been trying to offload most of these individual stocks, and I've gotten rid of over, I think with the sale of Verizon yesterday, I now have 10 stocks in my dividend account at Fidelity. One of them is an ETF, and then 9 individual stocks. So out of the 9 individual stocks, I still have like 3 more individual stocks that I want to sell. I do have a couple of individual stocks that are doing really well, and I'm going to hold on to those because they are growing. But the other stocks that I have that I bought into a long time ago, I'm trying to wait until the Fed cuts the rates, and then I believe they will go up a little bit. And as soon as they hit my cost basis, I'm going to sell. Now, I do have Texas Roadhouse, which I got in the cost basis. My cost basis on that one is $91. And I have a good profit on that one. I'm waiting for a little bit to see if it goes up a little bit more, and then I'm going to sell, because I think right now at this morning when I looked at the cost of that share or that stock, it's 158 and my cost base is 91. So I'll do really well on that one, but I'm just holding on a little bit more to see what happens, and then I'm going to sell that one too. So I'm trying to get rid of a lot of the stocks where I only have 1 or 2 shares, because I'm really over diversified. And I've mentioned it before, and I'm going to go ahead and say it again, guys. I think there's such a thing as too much or over diversification, especially if you don't have a lot of money to put into all these stocks. I'd rather really just have one really good ETF, dividend paying ETF, and put my money in that one. That way, if anything happens to one company, the ETF self cleanses itself, and I still don't have to worry about selling at a loss. Because the dividend ETF, guys, the great thing about it is I don't ever have to sell. I just, when I get older and I want to live off the income that it pays, then all I do is turn off the drip. So that's the reason that I sold at a loss. I mean, if you've ever sold a company at a loss, then you know it sucks. I mean, the one rule of investing is never lose money. But unfortunately, when you do buy individual stocks, at some point, especially if they are growth stocks, at some point you're going to have to sell. And you could only hope that when the time does come to sell, that the market is doing good. And that's why they say you can't time the market. I mean, I looked at the stock this morning. If I would have held on to it thinking that yesterday, I think the stock reached $43.62. This morning, I looked at it. It's back down to 43.05. So, whether it bounces back up close to 44, I don't know. But either way, I'm out of it. It doesn't matter what the stock does now. I sold yesterday at a loss of over $120 or $125, somewhere around there. Thankfully, I didn't hold on to the stock longer. I don't know what the acquisition of Frontier is going to do to the Verizon stock. But like I said, the company does have a lot of debt. It does pay a high dividend yield. And I was holding on to AT&T when they cut the dividend, guys. And it's not any fun if you're buying a stock purely for the dividend and then they cut the dividend. It's going to hurt the stock. A lot of people are going to bail on that stock because, as I said, Verizon does not really, it doesn't have a lot of growth. And like I said, I bought in at 53. It's not climbed back up to 53, but thankfully I purchased and continued buying and lowered my cost basis and was able to get out of the stock without losing a ton of money. So anyway, guys, let me know down in the comments below if you've ever sold at a loss. I know that, like I said, the whole reasoning of buying stocks or individual stocks is to buy it in a good price, get your cost basis down low, so that way when you do sell, it's back above your cost basis and you're earning a profit. But sometimes, guys, you buy into a stock that really doesn't do anything. It just continues going down. And like I said, I could have stuck with it a little longer and just kept collecting the dividend, but I decided to bail on Verizon, sell it, take a little bit of a loss, move that money into my ETF, and just focus on just a handful of individual stocks because, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an expert. I don't do very well at picking individual stocks, but yet I still like picking some individual stocks. I still like having a little bit of money in individual stocks, but I do realize that I can't make a lot of mistakes at my age, especially with me being late and saving for retirement. I need to make sure that I'm not making as many mistakes in the future. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to share with you guys my latest stock that I sold. I still have a few that I need to sell, but I'm holding on to those a little bit longer. I don't have as much money like invested in those like I did with Verizon. As I said, Verizon was my largest individual holding that I had in individual stocks because I kept trying to get my cost basis down. Decided to sell it yesterday, taking that money and putting it into ETFs. And then I'm just gonna, keep holding on, keep investing in what I got, and just keep trying to grow my net worth to $500,000. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, guys, click on that like button and also click on that subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I put out a new video, and join me on my net worth journey of my race to $500,000 so that I can retire with dignity. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.